Hi, I'm Bob Andrini from Kane County Audubon, ex-president of Kane County Audubon, and I'm here today to read from an Audubon bulletin from 1926. It was entitled Bird Study in High School Biology. It was from a guy named Jerome Eisenbarger from Crane Junior College, Chicago, Illinois. And he says, "There is no subject which is more worthwhile in high school biology from the aesthetic side or from the point of view of science and pure natural history than the study of birds. The living bird may be studied in its own habitat, free and happy and engaged in its own natural activities. The field study of birds arouses interests which are abiding. Aside from the fact that bird study provides for a worthy use of leisure time in the open air, it also shows the relation of bird to man's welfare and stresses the importance of protection and encouragement. It is more important for everyone to know that with sufficient bird populations, the greater part of the loss of $1,049,000,000 each year due to insects could be saved with the proper number of birds. The spring migration calls for a study over a wide field with the emphasis on identification and related details. The opportunities offered for bird study in Chicago and its immediate environs is a source of wonder. We have parks, open spaces along boulevards, several wooded tracts and forest preserves along the river, all within the city limits. On the north side, we've been allowed access to Rose Hill Cemetery, a veritable bird paradise during migration. Here may be found pied-billed grebes, great blue herons, all species of ducks, loons, and a big list of other birds. In the backyards and residential districts, while there is considerable growth of shrubbery may be found, especially during migration, all kinds of warblers, white-throated sparrow, brown thrasher, cedar waxwing, and even Bohemian waxwing. With all of these opportunities for study, I felt justified while teaching that work at Senn High School in requiring every member of my class to learn at least 25 birds. As I remember, the greatest number to the credit of any one pupil was 150 species. The greatest number of species for all members of the class in any one season was 250 birds. Of course, there were mistakes and some dishonesty, but experience in checking up reports enables a teacher to reduce the dishonesty to a minimum. Trips are taken after school hours and before school hours by different classes accompanied by their teacher, but after the work is well started, the best work is done by pupils themselves, individually or in small groups. I remember one pupil who was severely reprimanded by his parents when returning home from a Saturday field trip by 9 o'clock at night. By Sunday morning, he had the enthusiasm of his whole family aroused to the extent that they consented to go with him on an all-day field trip the next Sunday. For this work, a pupil should have a pair of field glasses, a notebook, and a bird guide such as Reed or Chapman. Most of the success or failure of the bird study in high school class depends on the teacher. He must develop an enthusiasm for that work that is contagious. The conservation of our wild bird life is a national, a state, and a community problem which must depend on each student knowing the different species and actually doing his part. Well, I taught high school biology at Addison Trail for 33 years, and for 31 of those years, I had what I called an independent study in ornithology, where I took students out at 6 a.m. during spring migration, so it's only about 5 times, and we identified birds in the area. But that was a special group. For my biology classes, I required students to identify 10 common birds by pictures and by sound. And at the end of the week, they were quizzed on the pictures and the sounds to see how good, and memories were made. And I and King County Audubon want to congratulate the Illinois Audubon Society on 125 years of natural science.